Your friends are scrolling through short content, but you, my friend, you're here to learn. Welcome to the RAAAZ Clips. Are you hopeful about where we're going in the 20s
Yes.
and 30s?
I'm very hopeful, bro, because we are following the trajectory of China. We've opened up our economy. We've laid very solid foundations to invite many more businesses. We are already the most populous country in the world. The world is moving out of China because China wants them to move out, and also because the world wants to move out of China. And that means a lot of opportunities for not just India, but also Indonesia, Vietnam, and Bangladesh. So Asia as a whole, they will see some beautiful years in the next 3 decades. And India being at the center of it, I think we are about to see an economic revolution in the next 2 decades.
What do you think can possibly go wrong in this India story going forward?
Inconsistent government policies.
Inconsistent government policies.
Correct.
Or an inconsistent government?
No, inconsistent government policies. Because governments might come and go, as in parties may come and go, but they have 2 options. One is to build upon what the previous party built, or to destroy what the previous party built and then start something new again. With China, that wasn't the case because they're not like us. So the government for 3 decades was focused in a single direction, because of which they were able to build what they've built. Whereas with us, we have the risk of changing parties which may destroy the foundations that have been laid by this party, and they may do things in their own way which may be disastrous for the nation. For example, let's take the case of Digital India. Do you know about the India Stack?
It's something being adopted by other countries, this whole digital infrastructure, UPI.
Yes, not by other countries, but what we've built in India over here. It is such a beautiful concept. So we had Aadhaar. Then we saw Jan Dhan Yojana in 2014 when Modi ji said everybody is supposed to open up bank accounts. We opened up 500 million bank accounts. And then we saw GST. In between, we saw Aadhaar linking with PAN. So identity was established, bank accounts were given, then Aadhaar and PAN got linked, or at least the process started back then. In between, we saw the rise of RuPay, and today RuPay is one of the strongest players in the debit card market. Then we saw GST, then we saw UPI, and now we are seeing OCEN, OCEN, Open Credit Enablement Network. Which means today, if you are an MSME, a micro, small, or medium enterprise, last year, had you gone to the banks and taken up a loan, the loans would come at a cost of 30%, 40% interest, even if that was a small amount like 50,000 rupees. But now the government has laid the foundation with something called Open Credit Enablement Network. So because the MSMEs have a GST certificate, because they have Aadhaar, because their PAN is linked and everything is connected together, now OCEN is built on that fundamental infrastructure by which, because you're using UPI to make transactions, the government will be able to check how much money you're receiving and how much money you're giving out. So even for a small Kirana store, this is what Paytm has done with Paytm Soundbox, that if you have a cash flow of 3 lakh rupees, and let's say you're operating in an industry which has a 15-20% margin, so Paytm understands that you might be making somewhere around 60,000 rupees per month. So if you apply for a loan of 10,000 rupees, Paytm will process it without any procedures. Similarly with OCEN, if you're an MSME and you apply for loan 1 year later from today, after this foundation is built, you will be able to get loans very easily. And MSME sector contributes 33% to our GDP, employs over 110 million people. So do you see, Aadhaar led to Jan Dhan Yojana, led to RuPay, led to GST, led to UPI, and now we are looking at OCEN. And on the same foundation, we're also building unified health interface. So if we keep on building over the foundations that we've already built, we will end up doing something absolutely extraordinary, which is what we've seen in the past 9 years with Digital India. So if we continue to do so over the next 3 decades, you can imagine all of this has happened in just 1 decade. So for the next 3 years, if we keep building on that, things will be good. If we don't build upon that, things will be disastrous because we've already spent a lot into building this infrastructure. And if we don't build upon that, this will go to waste. Plus, we'll spend more to build more foundations.
Okay. What I'm going to say now might seem like some sort of accusation upon you or an attack upon you, but it's not. I'm just saying this so that the audience works on its own thinking process. My angle here is, what if even you're in an echo chamber which is built up of capitalists like yourself?
True. That is quite possible. And I say this to my audience also, which is why I never give out my opinions in my videos. Like when you ask me whether this government is doing a good job or not, I did not give you a yes or no answer. I told you that these are the parameters. Go and check for yourself. Because it's a very nuanced answer. And same is the case with me also. Because I am in this echo chamber, with or without my choice, I am bound to be biased. I will try my level best not to be, but even then, there is a very high possibility that I might be slightly biased, which is why we speak only data. We give out the study materials so that people can cut through our bias and study data by themselves and draw their own conclusions.
Bro, you please go hang with some communists. No, I'm kidding, dude. My point is, maybe the things that you count as success are often money and finances based. Now let's take that to success of a nation or a government. Again, it's money and finances based because you're capitalist in your heart.
No. When it comes to assessing the government, like I said, there are also social indicators, and economic indicators are just one part of the 3-part judgment. So if you delve deep into social indicators, then we're not looking at it from the capitalistic standpoint. We are looking at it from a socialistic standpoint.
I'm as capitalist as you are. Like, I'm on the same page. But I've just learned to constantly disagree with guests who are allowing me to disagree with them. Because it just leads to more nuanced conversation.
True.
I would love to have a conversation with you and an extremely anti-Modi journalist. Just to see what they say.
I might agree with a lot of things that they say, by the way.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out this playlist for more videos just like this. It's the RAAAZ Clips.